So let's talk about the elephant in the room. The elephant we spend all day with, every day with, in silence and in company. The elephant that is always with us, yet we can live a lifetime without truly understanding this elephant and befriending it. This elephant is the self. We are all elephants, amongst other things, hopefully. I don't think I've ever talked about elephants so much, and I don't think elephants have ever attended a TEDx talk. But here's to new things. We live our lives with ourselves, little knowing that we should make a little bit of an effort to get to know ourselves a bit better. We constantly blame each other, society, and the government for our problems. In fact, I think that Pakistanis feel like blaming the government for their problems is a pastime. No hot water at your house, blame the government. Can't motivate yourself to go to the gym, blame the government. Not getting along with your puppy, well, that's just puppy's fault. Okay, so, wo bhi suna hoga, bik gayi ye government. You know, I think the only government to blame here is the government that is in our minds. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sheherzade Peerzada. I am an actress, comedian, and storyteller from Lahore. And the joke of today is that the joke's on us. What does acting and comedy have to do with the mind government, you may ask? What is the mind government? Ye kya baatein hain? Mujhe nahi samajh aa rahi. The performing arts teach you the power of perception, to be able to engage with a single reality in a multitude of ways. As a performer, when you get a role or create one, you have to occupy the reality of the character. You have to perceive life as the character. It's something that I find so beautiful, and it's the reason that I knew since before I came into existence that I wanted to be an actress. Actress? Buri baat. Being a prolific writer and slandering women on national television, chalta hai. Thank you. If the heartbeat of the average Pakistani had a sound, I'm sure it would sound something like this. Log kya kahenge? Log kya kahenge? All the log in the audience are just looking around and saying, mujhe nahi pata ye kya baatein ho rahi hain, hum nahi log, aap log hain. So, I think it's vital to admit and accept that yes, this is the rhythm that our hearts beat to. Because the sooner we realize this, the better we will be at amending this cardiological ailment. As a society, we are quick to judge. In order to understand someone or something, we put them in a box. In fact, we need to put them in a box, label them. If labels don't fit, we reject them. Thank you, next. If you're not fitting into a label, you are not fit for consumption. Our perceptions are mastered and engineered to partake in the act of labeling. Mota, moti, patla, patli, ladka, ladki. And then we wonder. We sit back and think about why our society is polarized, why our women are far from emancipation, why our men struggle with emotional growth and sensitivity, why our rich seek medical treatments in London and not in Lahore, and why our poor don't come out and fight for change. We love to think, but not about the right things. We are all stuck in our stagnant ways of perceiving, criminally categorized and comfortable in this lens through which we view the world. And it is only we who are suffering. Let's imagine something. Imagine that someone is coming from Karachi to visit you in Lahore. I'm saying imagine because nobody actually comes from Karachi to Lahore for a visit. They have the beach. Why would you leave the beach to come and have coffee at Mall 1? Khair. This someone comes to visit you only and they ask, Lahore mein kya hai cheezein karne ke liye? Not sure if that's proper Urdu because, let's face it, they are from Karachi. Don't get me wrong, guys. I love Karachi. And that's why I'm not subjecting Karachi to this talk. You think about what activities there are in Lahore. Sochte hain. Can't show them Badshai Masjid for the 10th time, so you settle for the logical alternative. Khane pe jana. Khane pe jana is pretty much all there is to do in Lahore. You know, either that or window shopping because inflation. As a society, we are incredibly passive. We are full-time consumers and part-time elephants, 9 to 5, sometimes 6. Visual consumption is another thing. Have you ever noticed the Lahori staring problem? I'm pretty sure it's a national phenomenon, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll just stick to Lahore for now. Karachi ki bahut baatein ho gayi hain. For a society that has so many boundaries, clearly staring doesn't violate any of them. So we're just, going about our day, staring at each other. It's almost as if the stares are trying to make up for a national lack of self-awareness. These stares are in many of our drama serials as well. You know, the ones where the saas is fighting with the bahu and the camera is fixed in its angle going dish, dish. Ye nahi ho sakta. And for 30 seconds, you're just looking at saas bahu, kind of just, do this one neck movement, which is fine, but it just adds to the staring problem. Why, I ask myself, why are we so focused on others and not ourselves? Because focusing on ourselves makes us uncomfortable. And man, oh man, do we hate discomfort. Being aware of our perceptions and changing them for the better requires us to step out of our comfort zone. It requires us to think before we react. It requires us to look within. Something we're quite terrified of. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't know elephants were so terrified of their own reflection. Self-work requires us to leave the comfort of our ways of thinking, and rather than passively consuming the world around us, self-work asks us to engage with it. I've been performing in theater plays since I was about 4 years old, and my stand-up comedy career started about 3 years ago. The job of a comedian is a tough one. You have to communicate with people using language, which is inherently an insufficient tool, but we still use it because sign language nahi use karna, but chalo. So the job of a comedian is a tough one. You have to communicate with humans using language. You also have to be a public figure of sorts, and you might have to be funny. The job of an actress is also a tough one. You have to use communication and language to communicate with other people. You have to be a public figure of sorts and might have to be good at what you do. What I'm trying to tell you is that the performing arts require you to put parts of yourself aside for the duration of the performance. Learning and unlearning. I make a cupboard of emotions in my mind. Let's visualize it. With different shelves for feelings and preoccupations. I take some things out and I put some things in. And I try to make sure that all is well inside of the cupboard and outside of it. Sounds a little crazy, I know, but elephants are known for their craziness. I'm trying to bring your attention to the fact that my craft has allowed me to build a buffer between myself and external reality. Instead of creating a reaction instantly, I rely on the buffer between myself and external reality in order to process what is actually going on. Instead of using automatic responses, I have to acknowledge that there should always be a space between yourself and what is going on outside so that you're not an impulse machine. So, a few of my comedy sketches went viral on the internet last year. And naturally, there were a lot of comments under the videos, jaise hota hai. If I took the offensive comments to heart, I would have left comedy last year. That bad, huh? I mean, I had to rely on the buffer between myself and help myself take people's words with a pinch of salt. So I took constructive criticism, tuned out negativity, and expressed gratitude for all the support that came my way. Instead of consuming only the negative parts of what was going on, I chose to engage with everything that was coming my way and added value to my experience. So guys, let's think about it this way. I took a small decision not to internalize criticism. That decision affected my life in a very big way. Because today, I'm better able to deal with comments and criticism, knowing that people's words will not keep me from reaching for the stars. Katre katre se hi to darya banta hai. So, I got most of my wisdom from my mother, who is with us here today, and about 3/4 of my sense of humor too, according to her. Once she said to me, life is very short, but it is also very long. I mean, to an elephant, naturally, this didn't make much sense, so I'm just staring at her like, Mama, aap kaisi baatein kar rahi hain? But today I understand what she meant. She meant that life is indeed too short to have narrow-minded and static perceptions. And if we do not untangle these perceptions, we can get stuck with them for the rest of our lives. Sounds pretty scary, doesn't it? I don't think we realize the power of the small things, small gestures, small thoughts, small kindnesses. There is no changing reality if we do not change our perception. What I've learned is, you guys, is that the rules are that there are no rules. The systems and institutions that we have set up really are not working for us. So we have to take one hard look and ask ourselves, where do we want to go from here? Remember back in the day when I told all of you that we ourselves are the elephants in the room? Are you guys asleep? So do you remember? Yeah, pretty absurd, right? Well, there's one thing that I did not tell you. We may all be the elephants in the room, but we are also all writers. Writers of our own narratives. Before I let the loftiness of my ideals get the better of me, I do realize that circumstances play a huge role in the paths we take in life. But let me also tell you that the amount of autonomy that every person truly has is immense. You just have to look within yourself and find it. You have to reorient your vision and perceive the power within you. Junot Diaz, a prolific writer who I'm really fond of, not a dead white man, mind you, wrote in one of his books, "What's the deal with writers and dictators anyway? Dictators, in my opinion, just know competition when they see it." What he's trying to say is that writers and dictators both have the power to create and shape narratives. Each and every one of us is the author of our own story. We must take responsibility and write the script of our lives with immense care. Ladies and gentlemen, take a moment. Close your eyes. Everyone, close your eyes, close your eyes. Okay. Take a deep breath. I want to be able to hear it. Now ask yourself, are you the author of your own story? Thank you.